as long as it's been around, it's been the benchmark. 136 awards pretty much says it all. On this edition of Test Drive, the third generation Mazda 3.
Replacing a car that accounts for a third of a company's worldwide sales is an enormous challenge. Evolution works, but it can leave the new car looking old in a hurry. Taking the revolutionary route is equally risky, as it can alienate the existing owner base. In the case of the third generation Mazda 3, the designers have it about as right gets. It's obviously a Mazda 3, but it also pushes the stylistic envelope. You can't ask for much more.
This latest 3 has all of Mazda's Skyactiv Technologies. Now, in a nutshell, what they did was to redesign everything, but simultaneously. Engine, transmission, suspension, and, of course, the chassis. Now, in this instance, you've got a header-style exhaust manifold. That forced them to redesign the firewall, which in turn forced them to redesign the climate control system. As it was a clean sheet, it didn't matter. It all works. That's the important thing.
The new platform is 30% stiffer and it's lighter thanks to the extensive use of high-strength steel. This gives the suspension a great base. Where the Skyactiv's chassis and suspension tuning comes into its own is the fact there's no discernible difference between the handling of the sedan and the hatchback. I was very impressed by the feel and feedback from the steering and the manner in which both versions responded to input.
Both the Mazda 3 sedan and the hatchback benefit greatly from a 60mm stretch in the wheelbase. Now that equates to a lot more rear seat space, and in the sedan you end up with 350 litres in the sedan, and in this hatchback 572 with the seats upright and 1334 if you fold them down. Now the two things I do like: the opening is nice and wide, and when you fold the seats down, the floor, thank you very much, is flat.
The Mazda 3 is offered with 2 Skyactiv engines and a choice of transmission. The GX and GS team a 2-litre 4-cylinder with a 6-speed manual. This engine creates 155 horsepower and 150 pound-feet of torque and works very nicely with the manual. It has ample power across the entire operating range, and the manual's gate is a delight to row through the gears. A 6-speed automatic is optional.
The exterior style is sharp. When you get behind the wheel, it's even sharper. The materials, top class. The crash pad, for instance, has a nice rubberized feel to it. You also get very comfortable seats, and if you load the Mazda 3 GT up, just about everything. Blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning, heads-up display, right the way through to this thing. Now, this is Mazda Connect. You can operate it through the central controller, the touch screen, or by voice command. It all comes together very nicely with but one hiccup. As soon as the vehicle starts to move, you lose the ability to touch the screen. Why?
The sweeter choice is the 2.5-litre engine than the 184 horsepower and 185 pound-feet of torque it brings to the party. It is much quicker to respond, and it features a sport mode. When engaged, the throttle's tip-in is faster and each of the automatic's gears is held a little longer. The GT features paddle shifters that also remain active regardless of shifter position. Sadly, the larger engine is not available with a manual box. On the upside, fuel economy takes a massive step in the right direction. Both new Skyactiv engines are 2 litres per 100 kilometres better in the city than their outgoing counterparts.
This Mazda 3 had some seriously big tyres to fill, but fill them it does. Better power, better handling, the best steering there is in the compact segment, better power, better fuel economy, and a very, very nice interior. The combination, well, it means it's destined to remain the benchmark for years to come.